this guy?
No!
Then why the hell did you run?
Who's gonna believe me? You don't.
No matter what I do, he just keeps screwing up.
So, Thompson, you know this kid? I let you work for me because I liked what I saw in the dojo. You learn fast.
Okay, so I ain't Mr. Perfect like my brother. The super cop. Don't make me a car thief.
Thompson, I want you to take this case. Don't keep me in the dark.
I'm an American now, man. I don't have nothing to do with Paul Lynn.
You're telling me this guy came over here from Hong Kong to be killed by monks from China?
It says that he's believed to have killed over 50 men.
Go ahead, martial law. Hit me.
Wait, come on, man. Wait a minute. Wait. Seriously, man, I got some information. I'm telling you.
Pastor says he saw you down at City Hall taking money from a cop.
There's a 487 in progress. What you guys call grand theft. I don't, right?
Who is this?
You just might take a personal interest in this.
What the hell is wrong with you, Michael?
She's been like a stranger to me.
Now, the cop, his brother.
You find I'm really not a hard person to please.
Over the years, it developed into a series of deadly blows. It leaves a mark just like that.
You want to kill, you kill him.
Come on, darling. You want some more? Come on!
Nice job, Thompson. Another one for martial law.
And welcome everyone to Bullets, Bourbon, and Karate.
This week's episode is Martial Law.
Yeah! Go, everyone. I'm Adam Archer.
I'm Marc Hall.
And as he said, we are doing martial law this week. Martial law. The time is 91 and the VHS sales are enormous.
This is never going to die. This is never
going to die. And everyone is making their buck by doing straight to video, straight to VHS. It's still frowned upon. I mean, by Hollywood, the big productions and things like that. It's still not the upper echelon of film. I mean, you're no Tom Cruise, but you could make a pretty good living for yourself being a straight to video action star, especially in the 80s and 90s.
I guess we could equate straight to video being as straight to Netflix, or just doing a Netflix early on Netflix. Like if you were going to do one of Netflix's first movies or shows or something like that. Yeah, Lilyhammer.
Whatever it was.
There you go. Yeah. That, I mean, you could put it in. You could equate it with that too. It's like you said. It's huge back then. I mean, you know, our childhood was. We were raised on these type of movies,
and so this was our first time dipping our toe into the straight to video pond.
It is, it is. And I thought that I had more memories of martial law, but when I watched it again, I had barely any memories of martial law.
I say the same thing. Now, I chose this movie because I thought how great we get to really start covering Cynthia Rothrock's catalog. Right. Because I would always rent her movies. Turns out, I remember this movie, but I only remember it as her. I don't.
Yeah, and that was the same thing here. I had no recollection of Chad Mcqueen, and which we'll talk about later on. Dutch, Karate Kid,
yes,
of course, Steve McQueen's son, which we'll dive into all that later. But yeah, my thought was Cynthia Rothrock top billing, but no, not.
And as I watch it now, she's criminally underused.
Oh man, it's sad. It's
sad. And when it was released, eventually she got top billing. Like, as the video went through its re-releases and things like that and remastered, it was always put with Cynthia Rothrock on top. Maybe David Carradine on a few of them, but I saw a few VHS covers that had her as the star, and she's not. She's third from the top after Carradine and Dutch. Chad Mcqueen.
And of course Carradine should probably get high billing on here too. I mean, for what all he's done until this time and up until this point. But still, I mean, Rothrock coming into her own, especially over from, Hong Kong and stuff like that, where she was huge.
Yeah, she was already a big star.
Yeah, and, just... I would love to talk about that. I mean, maybe someday we could have that interview.
Yes.
But I would love to find out kind of what her thoughts were during this. Like, did she plan to be top billing? Did they kind of give her the twist around and say this is going to be your movie, but then they turned it into Chad McQueen's kind of movie?
I have some background on that I was able to scrounge up, but I too would like to know specifically about the production of this film, because while I was able to find out some background stories and how some of the actors felt about it, I couldn't really find, like, when did it start filming?
Right.
When did anything, like,
it just happened. The movie just appeared out, and the cassette was laid on the doorstep of Fox
with a
one
glowing
day.
Light around it.
Yep.
Handle with care, hot karate kicks coming at you. And there's we'll post it on our social media, but there's a great trailer similar to what we found when we were researching for Under Siege that you would send to a video store. Like, Marcus made this action movie, and he would cut together a sizzler reel of the best parts of the action movie, some facts about it, the facts about the stars, and talk about how much this movie's going to sell, and he would send that to Blockbuster, corporate, I guess, and they would be like, oh, yeah, we'll buy 20,000, 30,000 units.
Yeah. I just got to imagine, after watching that kind of stinger, that trailer that was sent to him, I just imagine the big wigs at Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, Family Video, just in a cigarette-filled room, lights go out, they got a tape to play, it's just that sound of the going in, just, a lot of overweight men in there. And
just hairy knuckles.
Yeah, there you go. And
just being like, what do we got today?
Yeah.
Carradine, huh? Yeah, buy it. They were buying everything, and they were just filling their shelves with a quarter of major releases, and then the rest were just straight to video. Retail videos, when you bought them, if you bought them directly from the supplier, the studio, they cost about $90. I saw a New York Times article about this, so I have some confirmation on it. When the video stores decided to sell them, they would usually sell them for $20. So I think when you and I have talked in the past about how we were confused about the pricing of them, it was tough to figure out what was actually being charged. So if you, Marcus, wanted Dances with Wolves, which was the biggest release of 91, you would have to go to MGM.com or whatever the equivalent was. Of course, it wasn't no .com, but you'd be like, I would like to buy this $90 copy of Dances with Wolves.
I would have to look in the back of a Field and Stream magazine, send in the coupon, the code, or mail it with a stamped envelope, and say, I want Dances with Wolves.
And one weird thing about Dances with Wolves that I just sort of discovered through research was that McDonald's had secured the rights to sell the video.
McDonald's had?
At one point, McDonald's was the third highest seller of VHS.
I don't understand how that works. I don't
buy
remember
them at the McDonald's.
I never remember seeing that. Do you? Do you recall that at all?
Absolutely not.
No.
In 1993, I believe. Yeah, they were number 3 after, like, Walmart and then Blockbuster.
Number 3? That's crazy.
I don't know. You get your Happy Meal and some Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
smoldering.
I mean that's I mean, McDonald's being huge. I mean, why wouldn't you have a video section there to buy? I mean, I would be nagging my mom and dad if we were going there and I saw
they
that
produce
stuff.
Mac and Me. Why wouldn't you?
Man, if any of our listeners ever remember buying or their parents going to a McDonald's and buying a movie, or if you have one still, please let us know. And we'll get to the housekeeping stuff, so if you don't know where to send it, but please send that over and let us know.
Send that over to our email at bbkaratepodcast@gmail.com, or send it to us on Facebook at Bullets, Bourbon, and Karate. You can search that and you'll find us pretty quickly. I think we're the only one on there, unless someone's hacked us. Where else can they find us, Marcus?
They can find us on Instagram and Twitter at BB Karate Podcast.
Yeah, so hit us up. We've already had a few giveaways that we talked about on older podcasts in our catalog, where we gave away, someone won a 1990s Topps Don Simpson, I believe.
Yes, they did. And Warren Moon.
And a Warren Moon acetate clear card. We've given away a DVD copy of Showdown in Little Tokyo, and a DVD copy of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Not Girl with the Dragon
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
No, Long Kiss Goodnight.
There you go.
So, I don't know if we'll have a prize for this one. It's not necessarily easy to find martial law on DVD or anything like that.
You can find it on used VHS. I was looking on eBay. You can find a used VHS anywhere from $5 to $10, martial law. And I got to tell you, the cover art, which I'll get into later on, and I think you will too, is pretty badass. It looks like a solid cop action movie on the cover.
You didn't, odds are, you weren't coming into the video store, at least I never did, knowing what these movies were about.
Oh, no, not at all.
It was all cover art for me.
That was the fun. Of it, yeah.
So if I see a name or a badass cover, a badass cover being someone doing a high kick, someone holding a ninja sword, someone in a ninja mask, I will probably just reach behind and grab the clear plastic case and give it to my mom to check out. Right.
It's like those, you remember the 90s games, the handhelds, electronic or whatever, I forgot who made them, but
Tiger.
Like Mortal Kombat, Aladdin, I mean, they had, was it Tiger, that's who made them. Yeah, I mean, those games were horrible, but back then they were everything, but I think the biggest thing was the cover art on every game was unbelievable. They were so colorful and looked great. Street Fighter, Transformers, Mortal Kombat, and you got them home and you played them. You kind of knew what you were going to get. Movies you didn't know, but the cover art was the same way as intriguing.
And they would do that with NES games too. I mean, a lot of these NES games were just terrible, but you would rent them. Like, I remember one, I think it was like Pigskin Football, and all these people had like armor on as they were trying to play football. I was like, this is going to be crazy. It sucked. Yeah. Just so disappointing. Yeah. So anyway, the cover art's great, and we're going to talk about all of that in this wonderful slice of 1990-91 American ass-kicking pie.
Before we get into it, can I request just one thing that just popped into my head? I don't know. It's probably been done on other podcasts or YouTube videos, but maybe later this year, can we have a Rothrocktober?
Yes. I
kind of like that.
Was thinking, I mean, as I was doing the reresearch, I was like, oh, I love that movie. Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Same with, like, you had talked about a Swayze September, too.
Right,
and I think both of those deserve certainly their own month. I mean, you could do her career in Hong Kong. She was doing back-to-back 2 movies at a time.
Oh, yeah. Thing. Yeah.
So her catalog is just enormous.
Right.
But, yeah, I would love to do a Rothrocktober.
Yeah.
I guess that fits the best in terms of
Rothrock January?
No, you're right. Rothrocktober. So we are Bullets, Bourbon, and Karate, which means every week we pair a drink with the movie of our choice. The drink of our choice with the movie we're watching. And this movie, I believe the drink we chose is based on a feeling that the movie gives you.
Yeah.
There are a few drinks within the movie that are special, like sort of showcased, including when Faster Brown gets... Sean, I believe his name is, brings Faster Brown a pina colada drink, and he's like, what is this? I'm not going to drink this. It looked delicious to me.
It did. Banana daiquiri, maybe, it looked like, possibly, something
so
like that.
So we had the choices of that. They're in a bar, but what are we going with this week, Marcus?
Well, like you said, it's the overall feel of the movie, and while I did appreciate the mixed fruity drink, I just felt that what the film left me with and what I felt during this whole film was just that taste in your mouth. There were some aspects that I enjoyed, but to get down to it, I picked a dirty ashtray. Now, if you never had a dirty ashtray, of course, being in Chicago, dirty ashtray is a big thing in the theater scene, the bars around here too. And all it is pretty much any beer. You can do it mostly with a Mexican beer, and what I prefer is Tecate. I love Tecate. I don't know. What are you drinking today, Adam, with it?
Well, I didn't have a chance to go to the store, but I do have a Corona.
Oh, okay.
So
perfect.
It's a Mexican beer.
Nice. And then all you do with a dirty ashtray is you add a little lime. You know, you put the lime around there, get a little wet, get a little stickness on there, so you have not a lot of move around. And then you take a combination of salt and pepper, and you sprinkle that around the rim of your can, and you are good to go with a dirty ashtray.
You're in heaven.